4th and goal to go to 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Patrick Mahomes' injury twist might just help the Giants. So you tell them we got a chance, huh? But it is interesting. He has a injury to his wrist. And it's his right wrist as well, too. His throwing wrist. Very, very interesting. Now, of course, the Chiefs have quite a few, obviously. They have quite a few guys who are banged up, but the Giants have a few guys, obviously, as well. The Giants are always going to have guys banged up. But we have a couple of reports here, right? So, and one of them also, let me start with this here. Xavier Worthy, okay? Now, he has had a shoulder issue. Now, he's the one, he set the combine record. Yeah. The modern combine record. Now, if you talk to Deion Sanders said, he's running a 4.1 or 4.2 at the most 40-yard dash. If you talk to Bo Jackson, Bo said, yeah, I ran a 40-yard dash, and some guy had me like a 3.9 40-yard dash. So if you talk to some of the old-time guys like Deion and all, they run like 2-second 40-yard dashes, but the modern, there's actually more modern ways of telling the actual time of the 40-yard dash, right? Where they ran at 4.21, which is takes the top off the defense. So apparently he's not going to be playing. So not that he's like the greatest wide receiver of all time, but the threat is there. Of just taking the top off if he gets past you, he's gone. Ain't nobody catching him. Yeah. That's where the term playing over the top of a wide receiver comes in at, because as he's running down the field, you want to constantly be over the top of him. You never want to be equal with him. You get equal with him, he's going to run past you. So. But Giants catching Chiefs in a vulnerable spot with Xavier Worthy ruled out for Week 3 of Sunday Night Football. Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy was downgraded from questionable to out ahead of the Week 3 Sunday night matchup. Worthy won't travel as he recovers from a shoulder injury he suffered in Week 1 collision with Travis Kelce. They ran over the middle and they ran into one another. Right? Little did we know that was really going to help the Giants out, right? See, sometimes it's not so much who you play, it's when you play them, right? The Texas product was limited participant in practices all week, though head coach Andy Reid said Friday that Worthy looked fast and performed well in all the sessions. But still, Worthy was apparent not game-worthy. Behind Worthy, receivers Jalen Royals is questionable for the game with a knee injury. If he is active Sunday, it will be his first NFL debut as he was taken in the 4th round of this year's draft. Worthy dislocated his shoulder in the Chiefs' season opener against the Chargers in Brazil after colliding hard with Travis Kelce on a passing route early in the first quarter. So they ran right into each other. The tight end later said he unintentionally laid out the receiver while trying to free him up with a rub route against the Charger defense. So, but Patrick Mahomes, his injury twist adds some new pressure to the Giants' Week 3 matchup. Chiefs want to try to avoid a Giants-sized scare. Giants are catching the Chiefs at a fascinating time after dropping 2 straight to start the 2025 NFL season, including a Super Bowl rematch with the loss to the Eagles. Desperation is setting in for the Super Bowl runners-up And now, right before the Sunday night football matchup at MetLife Stadium, Patrick Mahomes popped up on the injury report with a right wrist issue. That's the hand he throws with. And while it hasn't stopped him from logging full practices all week, the timing isn't ideal. He's already off to a sluggish start this season. And if anything's bothering him physically, say inflammation in his throwing wrist, it will only make things harder for Kansas City, which isn't exactly worst case scenario for the Giants. You're darn right. That's not to say Mahomes is going to miss the game. Oh, he ain't missing no game. But it would say something that Kansas City feels the need to trot him out, wrist issue and all, in a must-win game against the most considered to be one of the NFL's worst teams. The fact that the Chiefs aren't even entertaining the idea of resting him against the winless Giants team in a non-conference games tells you everything you need to know about where their heads are at. Kansas City could have leaned on backup Gardner Minshew. But apparently the same guy who had a Pro Bowl-worthy run for the Colts in 2023 and has 46 career starts can't be trusted to take on Big Blue. That's either a major vote of no confidence in Minshew or a total indictment of how little the Chiefs trust their team without Mahomes, even against a team like the G-Men. Mahomes will play, and he'll probably look like Mahomes, but the Giants still need to treat it like an opportunity because those have been few and far between lately. So it'll be very, very interesting to see. But let's take a look here at the injuries, right? Now, of course, the Giants have quite a few guys, but they only have like five guys, right, who kind of like listed here. Now we got to find this here. This is the thing. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah. So Flanagan Fowles, right? He's doubtful for the game. Okay, but linebacker. Then of course, then we got out here Muasal, a linebacker. He's out with his concussion and an eye with concussion. Right? It hasn't passed concussion protocol yet. So Fowles is doubtful. Muasal is out. Of course, McFadden's on injured reserve, and you don't know when he's coming back. So after 2 games, we got like 3 inside linebackers. Boom! Probably may not be able to play. Chauncey Golston, right? Defensive lineman, probably more or less like a edge, but put him on the line as well too. He's questionable with an ankle, right? Nacho, he's doubtful. He's got a foot injury with a foot. So we got 2 inside linebackers and 2 defensive linemen, right? Then Gunner with a back, he's questionable. The guy's always injured. I mean, last year he lost the whole season because of his groin. Now his back. So, which kind of is a little bit odd because we had, we did have Xavier Gibson, right? Return man, Xavier Gibson. Okay, and we just demoted him, and he might wind up back on the practice squad. If Gunnar Olszewski here is questionable. Right. And then you got Wandale, but so we got Andrew Thomas. He's questionable. Okay, but it's trending like he might play. Now, is he going to play 100% of the snaps? That we don't know. Right? It might be will be a little bit of maybe a mixture. He plays so many snaps and somebody takes a spot. Who knows? If somebody does take a spot, is it going to be Bo or is it going to be Hudson? James, I like to get a lot of penalties. Hudson, right? You see, got a lot of guys there, right? A lot of guys. Cam Scatterbill with an ankle, but he was full participant. Roy Robertson Harris with a knee, he was full participation. Tyrone Tracy Jr. with a calf, he was limited, but there's no injury designation. So there's no injury designation. The guys are playing, right? Darius Slate with a groin and a calf. John Michael Schmitz with a toe. John Runyon with a back. Wandale Robinson with a foot. Right? I said, this is the thing. I just can't stand it because I go to the Eagle. I can't stand Eagles. I actually can't stand the Eagles. They're the team I hate the most in any sport, all sports combined. The Eagles. I go to their team. Of course, they play 2 games, and they have like 2 guys that are listed. The Giants have 375 guys that are listed. The Eagles have 2. One guy's, I think, out. One guy's doubtful or something. Like they have like nobody else. Nobody has nothing. Nobody has a cold. Nobody sneezes. Nobody has jocket. Nothing. Nobody has an ingrown tone and nothing. I have no idea how they can play 100 and something snaps. They play 100 and something snaps, and everybody comes out fine, and they win the game. Giants play 100 and something snaps. Half the team gets injured, and we lose the game. No idea. I absolutely can't stand it. All right, but the Chiefs, they have their some injuries too, right? Mike Dana, defensive end, he's out. Fulton, the cornerback, he's out as well too. Jalen Royals, okay, the wide receiver with the knee, he's questionable. So, but the thing is, even if he does wind up playing, he's got a knee and he's a wide receiver, so that's certainly not going to help him out. Xavier Worthy, another wide receiver, Rasholi, he's out. Okay, and you see a bunch of other guys popped up here. Right, there's Mahomes with the right wrist, but all these guys are full participation in practice. Right, so they got a lot of guys, who popped up on the list here. Right, but they one of the cornerbacks, the defensive ends, but 2 of their wide receivers. Now, the biggest thing there, right, is that every game is different. I get that, but the Chiefs, as of right now, their running game is like almost non-existent. Patrick Mahomes is their running game. And then, obviously, we don't want Russell Wilson leading their team in rushing yards. They don't want Patrick Mahomes leading their team in rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes is set on if he keeps it up, he's going to totally smash his all-time single-season rushing mark if he keeps this up. But the Chiefs don't want that. They want a running game. They don't have, as of right now, they don't have a running game. But it might be good for them because they're playing up against the team that has the worst yards per game given up run defense-wise, which would be the Giants. So something might give. Right? The Giants might really do good because the Chiefs don't have a good running game, or the Chiefs who don't have a running game might do really good because the Giants don't have a good run defense. So we'll have to wait and see. But you always got to figure, as long as they got, Patrick Mahomes, if it's a 1-score game, whatever, and you got Patrick Mahomes, you got a good chance of winning. Because let's not forget, I said the Chiefs have a good defense. Okay, you listen to guys talk on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs, I think they're number 2 in the NFL defensive wise as far as blitzing. They blitz about 50% of the time. They blitz, whether it's a run blitz or a pass. You just don't know who's coming and who's going. So they play a lot of man, right? They're going to try to maybe get up on the line of scrimmage, beat up on your wide receivers, get close to Malik, try to knock him off his route a little bit, or beat him up, hit him. Right, disrupt his pass routing, running, right, and as far as Wilson standing in a pocket and maybe throwing something deep, you may not be afforded that. You may not be able to do that because if Spagnuolo is sending the kitchen sink, he might just send the 4 and maybe blitz 1. He might send 2. You don't know, but he blitzes a lot, right? So being able to pick up the blitz, right, it's going to be imperative. Can we keep Russell Wilson standing upright? Because I said they have a good defense. They have a very good defense. Right? No doubt about that. So it's going to be tough. I mean, as well, last week you can certainly see where both teams might score some points because Dallas was going to score some points. Their offense is very, very good. Plus, they have that phenomenal kicker. But you've got the Dallas defense, especially their secondary, was banged up. So you can see where the Giants, could score some points, right? This week here, you don't know, but points. There's a good chance points will be at a premium here. Maybe both teams score in the 20s. We'll have to wait and see. But once again, every week is different. Every week is different, right? Neither team obviously wants to go 0-3, right? Because once again, you go 0-3, and your playoff chances are slim and none, right? Very, very difficult. So, Plus, for the Giants, it would be 0-3, but they would also be, once again, 0-2 in their own division. Because then we have to play the Chargers, and then we got the Saints, but then 2 out of our next 3 games after that are against the Eagles. So you can certainly see where the losses would start mounting up quickly. The one exciting thing about that would be, if you want to look at it for the Giants, is that we might get to see Jackson Dart in there, especially if we start off, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see, but you can see where there's a chance we keep losing. You might see Jackson Dart in there sooner or later, but hopefully the Giants will give the fans Sunday Night Football, the world, a good showing, a good showing, right? Because both teams, as I said, are 0-2, and both teams need this game big time.